good morning to you if you're in the UK. I hope you had a great Easter, and we're gonna start analyzing the currency pairs straight away. I do want to make this video short, relatively short compared to the my previous few videos I made, which was nearly about an hour. I don't want to keep that long, so ideally it's gonna be about 20 minutes to a half an hour at the very maximum. So we're gonna jump in straight to the currency pairs. Actually, I did not have time to have a look at what currency pairs I'm going to analyze, so this is going to be a raw footage, just jumping in and having analyzing the currency pairs. So generally I do analyze 4 currency pairs, so we're going to stick with 4 currency pairs. Also, if you have any questions, just leave it in the chats, or if you want me to analyze any currency pairs, you can just leave it in the comments and I will do just that on your right. So, if you're new to this channel, I'm making this daily live forex analysis Monday to Friday, 8 AM UK time. So we're gonna jump into straight to the charts. I'm gonna start with them. I'm experimenting with the trading view. So I've done in the last 2 or 3 weeks, I've done with the MetaTrader 4, and I do want to experiment with this trading view now and see how it's gonna go, and if more people, I know a lot of people are using the trading view. I do use it sometimes, but I do trade off the MetaTrader 4. So I'm going to experiment for this and maybe next 2 weeks with the trading view and see if you guys are going to like it or not, and you can let me know in the comments. So we're going to start. So I was looking, actually I had a brief look at the euro dollar, which looked pretty good. Euro USD. Let's go to euro and USD. See what we have in there. So we had this nice move on this 1 hourly time frame. That looks pretty good. Let's go to the daily time frame. Oops. Let's go to the daily charts, and I'm going to start drilling down from the daily time frame to a shorter time frame. So daily time frame. So we can see that the price is going higher. For the last couple of days. This, this one, this is a was it Sunday? No, this is not Friday. This one's calculating a bit differently than for my MetaTrader platform. So the 10 was okay. That 10 was Friday, so it doesn't count the Sunday like the MetaTrader 4, which is good. So the price is going higher, and we've seen on the an hourly time frame that we had this nice bullish close. But I do want to have a look at the 4-hour time frames because it's important. So we have this 4-hourly candle, so it's still edging higher. And we have seen, so the price is up to this resistance here. That should act as a resistance. So I'm hoping this is going to have a little retracement. So far, I do like this candle, especially on the an hourly time frame. I do like to have a look at the look of these candles. So let's go to the an hourly time frame. Actually, there's a potential for yeah, looks pretty good. I want to see a bit of a retracement. Actually, this could I might even take a trade just while I'm in live as well. So that depends, because this is pretty close to the entry. Let's go a little bit further. So we got these, yeah, it's a decent on the area of 0950. That looks a very good area to get onto the long sides. 0950. We got let's have a look at the let's bring up the pen. So we have this low down here, we got these highs, and we also have these highs here. So that will be a very good area to get onto the long side. So I'm waiting for this one price to come down, and hopefully that will set up. Depends on you guys what kind of strategy are you using, or what kind of setup really, because I have the strategy and I have a certain entry setup which has to meet that requirement before I take a trade. So it has to meet that first strategy in full, and then I have that specific entry setup which has to which price has to satisfy that requirement. For now, let's go to the I don't really use like shorter time frames, like 15-minute time frames, sometimes half an hourly, but generally the 15-minute time frames to get the entry. That allows me to have a tight stop and then very good risk reward. So we said it's at about 0950. So it does have to come down a bit more, but it has a good potential for this one to come down. If it's going to set up or not, that's the different story. For now, we are looking for the entry at 109.50 150. I did draw it before. Why? What's the reason why I'm looking at it? Because there's a lot of price action going on. So there's a high chance that the price will find a support and then probably going to continue towards upside. So on 150 as of the stop losses goes, let's have a look at the stop loss on 150. That's not that. Oh no, this is 15-minute time frames. Excuse me. Let's go to the 1 hour time frames. So 1 hour. So 150 for the stop loss. We would be looking lower than that. 15, actually 20. You can get away with the 15 pip stop, but if you want to have a bit more safety, you can do 20 pip stop. I think 20 pip stop would be just ideal for would be just below of this 1 hourly bullish candle. So if the price comes down to that far, then I would not be interested as much on this unless it sets up again. So for now, I'll be looking 20 pip stop for these, and entry is at 109.50. So 20 pip stop. You can get away with the 15 pip stop. I do say that, but the price might come down and nick your stop before it continues to the upside. As the targets goes, let's have a look at the 4 hourly time frame. So 109.50 as I mentioned, and 150. So this one looks a good potential for the target 110.30 area, but this so target will be 80 pips on that one. If we take a 20 pip stop, yeah, that works out pretty good risk reward. So the target's gonna be at 110.30. So we got the reason why it's 110.30. We got these highs, it's close to these highs, and we have also these highs. Yes, pretty close to. There's a lot of price action, so there's a good chance that there's gonna be a lot of orders coming off on this area. And it could be also the other potential that when the price comes up here and the order is going to come off, the price have a retracement, and there's going to be another potential to take another entry somewhere down here before, and then run it up to maybe these highs. But that's for the different. That's probably we're gonna see in the future. But for now, as I said, so the entry is at 109.50 with 20 pips stop, and for the target is 110.30, 110.30 or 25, 28, just about 2 pips, just before getting at 110.30, because traders like to take their trades off just before that the target. So sometimes it can go pretty close, maybe even 1 or 2 pips, and then just turn around, which can be annoying. So this is the 80 pip reward with the 20 pips up. Risk reward is very good. You're looking for 1 to 4 a risk reward. That's pretty good. So that will be the one currency, euro against US dollar. I'm gonna just write it in here for me for later, because I don't need to write it. Will be easier for you guys, and I will include the timelines as well. Sometimes I carry away and cover the different topics in between, and some people, they're just looking for the purely analysis and nothing else. So I'm going to include the timelines in the comment section after this video is released. So USD as of the first currency, and let's move to the next one. So which one should we analyze? Let me quickly have a look at the MetaTrader, because I already got these so many. Okay, this one is going higher. I already have this NZDUSD looking good. So let's have a look. NZDUSD. So New Zealand dollar against US dollar. It's gonna load it. So let's have a look at the daily time frames here. Okay, for the daily time frames, I don't particularly like the look of these candles. It has this on Friday. We had this doji. I think I did mention it on the. I can't remember, was it Daily Forex Analysis, either Daily Forex or on a weekly Forex Analysis. One of them I did mention. So it depends how this is gonna act now. If it comes down to this area, which is at 60 to 30 area, then I will be looking for the potentially to take a longer trade. Let's have a look at the 4 hourly time frames. So we said 60-30, which is down to yeah, we have quite a bit of price action down here. We have, okay, that penny not working here. So we had a bit of price action. come on. So 60-30 zone. So we have the cluster of these lows and these highs here. So we got these, and we got also these quite a bit of price action. So the price might find a support there, and then may turn and go up. But the only thing I'm concerned on the Friday's candle, we have a doji, not to. You need to take it into consideration. Of course, you can't base your analysis just purely on the on one candle, but it can give you some caution. So let's have a look at the hourly time frame. So 60-30, I mentioned, right? 60-30 is quite low. So this is down here. Actually, I don't particularly like this one. If the price comes down here, as of the day trades, no, I don't like the way it looks on the shorter time frames. Yeah, I don't like how it looks in the shorter time frames. So as of the day trading is not, it doesn't look very appealing. So for the day trading opportunity, this one has to do quite a bit of some moves. Let's look up here. If it comes down, it doesn't show much of a strength. So let's have a look. If it comes down, let's say if it does it in about 2 candle bars, and this hour and the next hour, and it does not really shows anything, something like the strong moves, then I will be looking to get onto the long side. But if it does something like it comes down and closes strongly as the bearish candle, then I would not be taking trades. For this is it doesn't look a great setup. The euro dollar is a pretty good setup, so that's a good potentials. This is all right. It has potential, but it's not as good as like a euro dollar currency. So for this one, let's have a look. So 60-30 for the entry. If it does comes down, it shows a weakness. Shows not much of a strength towards downside, then I'll be looking to give it a shot. So as of this stop losses, 60-30, okay, this one's gonna need a bit of a more. Let's go to an hourly time frame and have a look at the hourly time frame there. So 60-30 down to this area. Yeah, this is a bit. Actually, this one gonna need a bit of a longer stop than that. It might need actually 40 pips. On this one, looking like a 40 pip stop loss would be a good. 30 comes down. I don't like 30 pips, so you're gonna need a 40 pips on that one. But the only concern is if for the target wise, if we take a 40 pips stop loss, then we have to. Yeah, 60-30, then we have to leave it to, let's go to the day time frames, see what we have on the day time frames. So if we give it that much stop for the 40 pip stop loss, then we need to run it. So 60-30, we can now run it to at the very minimum at 6200. So this one is more like if we take that trade and we give it a 40 pip stop loss, then we're gonna hold that trade to high. This is more like a swing rather than a day trade for this one. But then if it works out, then the potential is pretty good. Gives a very good risk reward on that one. So we can run it to up to these daily highs here if it's gonna work out, obviously. So we can run it to about 63.30 area, and if you take it at 60.30, that's like good 300 pips, and with a 40 pip stop loss, that's a very good RR. So this is more like a swing, semi-swing to the swing trading, because we have a 300 pips on that one. It's more like a go long and hold it for a bit, because this is also New Zealand against US dollar. This currency does not move as much as like for instance euro against euro against Australian dollar, or British pounds against Japanese yen. For that currencies, for 300 pips is not that much, but generally New Zealand against US, it does not move, does not cover 300 pips in a day or two. Sometimes even it can take up to a week. But we've seen a good volatility. It's kind of died down for the last week, but we might see for this week have more volatility coming in, which I'm hoping as well. So for this one, we got 40 pips stop loss, and we're gonna run it to 73.30. This is actually more like a semi-swing to the swing trading rather than a day trade. So let's have a look at the other currencies. So New Zealand against, let me just write it. Oops. Let me write it in here. New Zealand against US and the USD. So this was the second currency. We are already 16 minutes in. Which one? Which one? We'll have a look. Audi. Let's have a look at Audi USD. Let's see how the USD, what the Australian dollar is doing right now. So this is a daily time frame. The currency is going pretty well. Let's drill down to the 4-hourly time frame and see what we got in there. Kind of similar pattern to the Aussie, similar to the euro-dollar trade. Euro-dollar currency looks a bit similar. It's edging higher. We have the 4-hourly, and I'm pretty sure 1-hourly time frame. We're gonna have that bullish candle. Yeah, we do have. For this one, let's take a bit more precaution. Let's have a look back to the 4-hourly time frames. Let's take a bit. No, they look a bit similar. Let's do a different one. I'm used to do that on MetaTrader, so that's why it's a bit. The euro dollar is starting to fly higher now. It doesn't look that it wants to. Retrace. Got these. Okay, that's pretty weak. Right, US dollar against Japanese yen. That looks pretty good. Yeah, it's flying down. Let's analyze USDJPY. USDJPY. Let's do this. So this one is flying down. Let's have a look at the daily time frames. What we have it in here. So far so good. It looks pretty decent. It looks like the price wants to break these lows. Looking pretty strong. I do expect this one to come down at the very minimum down to these lows, which is at 107.20 zone, and we're gonna have the target down to this low down here. We got quite a lot of price action going on, as we can see. Oops. So we got price action. So we got. Yeah, we got this price action going on here, and we also have this. Yeah, we got this one, and we got this is the main low down here. So we're gonna have a target on that one. So for now, we're looking at, so it's 107.20, which is quite about 60 pips away. So ideally, we will get some retracement towards upsides, and we gotta get onto that retracement. So, well, the question is whether we're going to take the retracement. Let's have a look at the hour time frame, and we're going to determine our entry and stop loss. So let's look. We are at, currently we're sitting at 107.80. 107.80. So we're going to have a look. So we would be looking about 107.82. We could have 102, 107.90, either 107.90 or 82, 107.80 to 90, around that. So we can give about 10 pip margin between that. So let's say that we get on to 107. What was it? 107.80. Call it 107.80. Just make it simple. No, actually not 107.80. 107.90. 107, yeah, 107.90. So we got 107.90. We have these highs here, up here. So price, there's a good chance that the price is going to come up and might turn around there. So 107.90, which is about 10 pips. It's not that far away, so there's a good chance the price is going to come up in the next next 20 minutes or so. In there, 107.90, and we would be looking for this stop loss. We can get away pretty easily with a 10 pip stop loss, probably 12 pips, and if you want to give it extra room, you can even go up to the 15 pip stop loss. You can get away with it if you take even 20 pips and run it down to 107.20. It still gives you 1-3 risk reward, which is pretty decent. But of course, if you keep your stops tighter, then your risk reward is gonna skyrocket. But then, of course, there is this other side of the coin, which if you have a tight stop loss, you're gonna the more higher chance that you're gonna get stopped out. For me, I choose always a risk reward rather than just if I take a fraction of the loss, it does not make a big difference because I know that once I get that big risk reward winner, I'm going to make even more money than what I have lost. So that's a trick. So we got 107.90 with the 12-15 pip stop loss, either depending on your risk. If you want to give it 15 pips or 12 pips, anything between 10 to 15 pips, you can do that. Mine spreads as well. Some of the brokers, they have a wide stops. Like mine on a euro against Australian dollar, they had a huge spread on the. I think it was on Friday. I was going to take a trade on a euro against Australian dollar. Then luckily I do check sometimes, but I was like in a rushing. And luckily I did check it, and the spread was I can't remember, it was like 12-15 pip spread, which is pretty big compared to what is normally is generally it's about 2 pips spread, which is reasonable. But on the Friday I had 12 pip spread, and after a couple of hours when I checked back again, it was nearly 20 pip spread, which is ridiculous. Volatility was not even that high, but it just gave me that big spread. I decided not to take the trade because it was not worth to take a trade. Generally on the major pairs you're fine, it's not a big one, but on the minor pairs you might want to double check before you take the trade, because spread might be so big that you might made not worthwhile taking to take a trade. So unless you are swing trading, then it will be probably worth it. But if you're doing scalp trading and you have a 15 pip spread, then it's definitely it won't be worth taking a trade. So mind that. So we've discussed the entries, exits, and the stop losses. So I'll cover pretty much this one all US dollar, Japanese yen. So now let's write in here USD. USDJPY. So we got 3 and 1 more currency. So which currency to analyze? Let's have a look at the MetaTrader 4. Actually, this one is YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Okay, that's great. The internet connection is pretty good, but the maybe my laptop is not doing a good job, which I do. I'm going to buy a better laptop because this is pretty old, and probably that's why its CPU is not that good on this one. So probably that's why it's affecting the streaming. So you might getting a delayed video, which is not good. Internet connection is pretty good. I checked it earlier. It's working pretty well, but for the laptop, it's not getting enough. Doesn't have enough power. So let's get into. Okay, this one looking good. Let's move to which one to analyze? British pounds. Oops, what is that? British pounds against US. Looks like it's flying higher as well. Let's have a look at the British pounds against US dollar. GBPUSD cable, good old cable. Okay, now it's come on. Okay, GBPUSD. Let's have a look. If it's gonna load it, takes time. Should not. Let's go to the NR daily time frames and see what we have it in there. So on the daily time frames, we got this resistance here, but the price is trying to break it. For now, it's looking fairly strong on the 830 for now. It's looking very strong, but because this is a daily candle, it might at the end of the day can just come down and close like a doji candle. But for now, it's looking good. And let's have a look at the short time frames. Because we're day trading, it should not affect as much. Let's look at the 4-hourly time frame and see how we can get on to this trade. So this is another 4-hourly high, and see what we're gonna run there actually. For now, I do look at this 125.90. 125.90. However, we have the prices Oh no, it's price 127. So this will be our targets up here, 125.90, 125 or 125.85. Let's go zoom in. So 125, call it 125.85, 125.85. That will be target. And see. Okay. Let's see for the entries, the potential entries, and what's the stop was gonna be 125. Ooh, okay, this one gone too far. Okay, this is a bit of a tricky one. Let's. I want to have a look at this in here because I can't place the pivots, or I don't know how to place the pivots on the trading view, but I do have the pivots on my MetaTrader one. So I'm going to analyze the British pounds USD on the MetaTrader. So it will be easier for you and also for me as well. So 25.90. I did say that we have this weekly pivot here. So for the entry. Right, for the entry, for the high time frames, this is the entry I see, but that's too far. It's way too far. Okay, we have this 4-hour pivot, so that looks better. 25.03. So we got about 30 pips away for the current price to the pivot price. This could be a potential entry, but as I do not particularly like to take the trades just based on the just based on the purely on the pivots alone. I do want to find something that I can use to, if I can like leverage something on that one. If I can use, but so far I don't see anything. I don't see. Okay, so the price is coming down. Let's have a look at this. So this is pretty much like a raw analysis what I'm doing right now. So because I have not done it, generally I have a look at the charts before I go live, and then I know what to like look for, and it's easier generally to like say, okay, this and this and this currency, and I'm looking for this and this and this. But this is like a raw analysis. I didn't even have a look at the, apart from the euro dollar earlier, I did a brief look at it, but I did not really go into it because I was doing so many things. I was pretty busy, and now this is pretty much a very raw analysis. That's what you see. Just look at it and analyze and draw and all that. So it might be useful if you are a new trader. Certainly when I was new, I was looking and learning a lot of learning about the charts and how to analyze them, what to look for. And it's so many variables going into your heads. But once you get into the trading for and get the experience 2 or 3 years, then it becomes so much easier to when I have a look at the charts and I know already like what to look for and what the pattern and what the candles look like, what to be aware of, and all that. So let's have a look at these 12. Let me look. So I do want to find something else. I don't want to just base on my entry purely on 4-hourly pivot. This is also the short-term pivot, and it might not it's not as good. It's a higher time frames. There's higher potential that the price will find a support or resistance, depending. In this case, it's going to be a support. But if you just purely just look at the pivots, it's not as strong than when you have something else, some other evidence going on that, okay, the price, if it has like a higher lows. So in this case, I can see that on the daily time frame, okay, what was the pivot at? 125.04. Okay, 125.04. So we have these highs here, so that's pretty decent. So I do like that. 125, or at least it's not that far away. We have these highs here, a cluster of open and closes on the daily time frame. So I am happy with this. It's pretty close. It's only a couple of pips away from that 4-hourly hit. So I do take that. So for now, we can use this 4-hour pivot at 125.04. Getting onto these 25.04. So if when the daily highs are about 12500, so only like 4 pips away, which is pretty decent. So that's decent. That's a decent enough to take a trade. Ideally, this one comes down, depends. So we have 25 minutes before this candle is closed, and ideally this one do it either this hour or the next hour. So if, for example, when the price starts chopping around, let's say like this, it does maybe next 2 or 3 hours, then I would not be, or next 2 hours, should I say, because at 12 o'clock is going to be a new 4-hourly pivot. But if it's for the next 3 candles, if the next 2 or 3 candles going to be like this, and then price starts to come down after that, then I would not be interested in that to take a trade on that particular option. However, if it does it on this hour and next hour, then it's justifiable to take it. But if the price, again, if it does something like this, then I will not be interested, because already starts shopping around, and that's already signals that more weakness, and the price might want to turn around and go down. So for now, that's what I'm looking for, and let's discuss the potential entries. Oh, we know the entry already. So 20, for the simplicity, let's call it at 125.05. For the stop loss for this one, so the target was at 125.80, if I remember correctly. 125.80, yeah, 125.80 or 90. Call it 125.80. We got this weekly one as well, so that's pretty good, strong. 125.80. If price comes down and we go at 125.05. Okay, 05. We got. Let's go to 1 hour time frame. Let's go to 1 hour time frame. So 05, we would be looking at. Yeah, 20 pips on this one should be good. Not the ideal. It's still a bit tight, but we cannot give too much space, because we got 75 pip gain on this trade if we're gonna run it to that 4-hourly high, which is also weekly one. So we're looking for 75. You can take 25 pips. You can get away with the 25. It gives a 1 to 3 risk reward. So you can get a 25 pips. If you're okay with a 1 to 2 risk reward, then you can do 30 pip stop, or just about the 30 pip stop. You can 32. So 1 to 2, yeah, excuse my mess. So that's 35 pips. You can go with 35 pips the stop loss. So if you want to get that extra security, they can use a 35. But then again, it's gonna affect your risk reward. So keep that in mind. Risk reward is very important, and as I said, the 1 to 2 risk reward is good. It just comes to your preference, comes to your strategy. Then you can use. I would not do anything 1 to. I've seen some traders, they use a 1-to-1 risk reward, which is very bad. You need at the very minimum 1 to 1.5 risk reward. As for the new traders, for very beginner traders, I do advise them to use 1 to 1.5 risk reward, just because that is easier for them psychologically to cope, because you're gonna have less losing trades rather than if you have 1 to 3 risk rewards. That's the price to pay when you have a higher risk reward. You pay with the win rates. When you have a high risk reward, your win rate drops, but then your return is higher. So depends on your preference, but again, when you're a new trader, your mindset is not developed, your psychology, your trader mindset is not developed, so it's more difficult for you to cope that losing trades. So that's why it's better to use 1 to 1.5. 1.5 is the very minimum. You don't want to do a 1 to 1 risk reward. That's not good. So we discussed that one. So that's pretty much done with the GBPUSD. And for the trades as well, I think I do analyze the 4 currency pairs. Let's see. Right, GBPUSD in here. Okay, GBPUSD. So this was the 4 currency pairs. I don't see any questions, so I'm gonna leave it for now. I really don't want to make this one longer than already it is. Okay, 37 minutes now. I do want to make it about 20 to half an hour, but as we can see, I did not manage. But it's better than 52 minutes. I think my last one was. So I'm getting better on that. So this was the live daily forex analysis. I'm making these videos from Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. UK time, this live daily forex analysis. So make sure to hit the subscribe. Also, if you like this video, give it a like. And I also make a weekly forex analysis on Saturdays, and on Sunday I'll make videos about the knowledge, anything that will help you to improve your trading. That will be something related to trading strategies or trading mindset. I'm big on trading psychology and trading mindset, because I think that's way more important anything than any strategy you can get. Actually, I see potential. Okay, the euro dollar is falling down, so that will be a potential trade opportunity. Okay, for the setup, it doesn't look as good. Let's go to the 55. So this one is falling now. Okay. So this one's going to close in about 4 minutes. So the potential for this one, euro dollar is setting up now. So it can be decided that's probably not going to happen for another 20 minutes. So this candle has to close. This is a 15-minute candle, so it has to close before I want to see close of this candle, and it's going to be next candle. Then I'll be going to the long side. So I do want to see the close of this candle, and there should be another candle. So 20 minutes. Keep an eye on euro against US dollar. Right now it's setting up. I'll try to comment it just before maybe taking a trade. And then if you follow me, then you know what I am about. So I'm gonna comment on this one if I'm gonna take the trade or not, if it's gonna set up. So it's good. I do want to see another 15-minute candle on this one. So far it's pretty well. It's on the entry zone we just mentioned, but it needs another 15 minutes for the setup. However, if you're just getting onto the trade, you can justify it. Probably gonna wait another couple of pips to come down, probably down to the 109.49 zone, and you can take a trade. But I do take trades based on a setup, so I'll just see now it's working, but it's going to take another 15-minute candle to for me to see like if it's gonna set it up or not. For now it is still a developing candle. Okay, that will be it for now. I'm gonna sign out. I've been talking for 40 minutes now, and I'll see you guys tomorrow at 8 a.m. on my live daily forex analysis. Again, if you're new to this channel, make sure to subscribe. I'm making daily videos about trading. Also, if you want to ask me questions on my next live daily forex analysis, you can do that. It's going to be on 8 a.m. UK time on Tuesday. Have a great day, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Signing out. And that's going to take us time. 9 to 4.